Hi everyone, I want to take some time to talk about the GoD for Season 24. So you have most likely seen the ethereal items that have been introduced on the PTR. So this is for the test server, but Demon Hunters got probably the best item out of all of them, which is the Buriza-Do Kyanon. This item gives so much damage to exactly this build, it's absolutely crazy. Not only does this thing have beyond 4000 DPS, it also has high chance to freeze, and in effect that was added in the recent PTR update to an already really strong weapon where you do 100% crits against frozen targets. So what this means is that especially in speedruns, when you don't really have worries about crowd controlling enemies, you can just rush through, freeze stuff, and you just obliterate. And there are a few ways to actually make even more use of this effect to boost the damage even further. The basic setup doesn't really change much, but you just equip this weapon. I had one with a Fortress Ballista power. I actually also tried a Valor's power in speedruns, which is an even greedier choice, but for consistency you definitely want a Fortress Ballista plus Dawn combo, just like you usually do in speedruns to protect your Squirt's necklace. You have Focusing Strain in there, so nothing really special. The setup is pretty much unchanged. I was running with Webs of Clarity and Convention of Elements here. I also tried Guilds, but I felt this was just too squishy for my taste and I didn't even perform better with this. I liked to play around to Convention of Elements to just completely obliterate some stuff here and there in like a second, and otherwise I would have still pretty decent damage here on GR115 with my 1600 Paragons. I had absolutely no trouble whatsoever. So it does seem like GoD is shaping up to be probably the best speed farmer next season, even above Firebird, or at least at a competitive level. I have been trying some Firebirds earlier in the PTR with Mansong's Lesson, the staff that Wizards got, which is also quite strong, and there has been an update to some of the other weapons since then, but I don't think that he will actually be able to beat the solo XP per hour that the GoD can produce, because the buff is just so insane. I was running 115 with various setups for a while here, and I never got a run above 3 minutes, and I got a few runs even below 2 minutes. So my average was maybe something like 215 or 220 or so in those tiers, and I could have even gone up a few more tiers if I wanted to boost my gems or something like that, and still stay in like a roughly 3-minute average if I wanted. So definitely really insane numbers. The potential goes up by something like 9-10 tiers in speedruns or so, or 11 even, because it's just such a strong weapon. Now, because of this freeze damage bonus that has been added to the Buriza-Do Kyanon, you could actually think about some really interesting choices here. So there has been some talk about adding a Z-Necro to the party and all that stuff, but if you want to do the GoD Speeds meta, which is by the way also shaping up to be at least equal with the Rats or even the Firebirds, so it might actually become a thing again just in Season 21, you wouldn't really invite a Z-Necro because of the freezes alone. You already freeze a lot of stuff just on your own with the 35% chance, because you have a rather high proc coefficient on the Hanging Arrow, you also have the Strafe, you also have the Vengeance, so you do hit stuff quite a lot. But what I was doing here is actually running Vengeance from the Shadows that has a guaranteed 3-second freeze on almost every enemy around whenever you attack. So you see these little ghosts popping up here that are essentially freezing everything around them when they appear, and those are procced by your own attacks. So I gave up 50% of my toughness to get those guys, and it doesn't really seem worth it because you already freeze quite a bit, and even when you freeze and get guaranteed critical strikes, it doesn't matter all that much, because usually you have something like 60 to 64% crit chance anyway in solo, and in groups even more because of the CDH. So freezing everything and going from, let's say, 80% crit chance in groups to 100% is not really such a crazy bonus anymore, and there's not really many stats to roll on your items instead of crit chance. You could consider rolling it off the rings perhaps, but all the other slots, there's not really much competition. You don't really scale well with attack speed or even physical damage or air damage, so nothing really matters that much to make it worth going for this 100% crit strategy. In any case, it was quite funny to play around with this freeze effect. I think in the end you just want to go with the regular setups anyway because of the toughness from Vengeance Star card. and then you can decide between Rapid Clarity plus Convention, or if you want to go really greedy and squishy, you go with all guilds if you want a consistency and not have to deal with the ring. As for the pushing potential, I didn't actually try pushing again with GoD, but I know that it also got like around a 10 tier benefit from this, and the freeze effect will definitely help you to survive in pushes a bit. It will help you protect your squirts a little bit, even though a lot of people are always so scared about hard crowd control effects like the freezes. It is actually beneficial and not bad, because you do control enemies in a degree where it will actually help you, and you're not constantly destroying your pulls. You're not even going for really large pulls to begin with as a GoD, so this is actually really perfect. In the end, nothing has really changed very much for Demon Hunter in terms of pushing, so it is still one of the weaker classes because all the other classes had much stronger builds, and they also got buffed by Ethereals, but not just as much. So Demon Hunter has caught up a little bit, and there have been some changes to the Witch Doctor, so it seems like Witch Doctor and Demon Hunter are together the weakest classes, but GoD will clear 150 next season at very high Paragon, but it will. So I'd say definitely interesting times ahead. I'm quite excited to think about GoD being a competitive speed meta that will even beat rats. So I think this can happen. There could actually be some really interesting setups next season as well that I've thought about, where you can combine GoD maybe with an inner monk, or maybe even put a GoD in a rat group. So it seems like the Ethereals have actually evened out the DPS between the different builds a little bit, to the point where you might actually be able to mix them up a little bit. And I was even thinking about a setup where you replace one of the supports in God Speeds and you get an inner monk as an extra like semi DPS and puller to do big AoE damage with the fire ally explosions, and then still have like 1 or 2 GoD to clean up all the little leftovers. So definitely interesting stuff. I'll try to get a group going to actually test this meta, but for now this is something that we might see in the next season. I'm very excited for it, hope you are too. So Demon Hunters have a golden time ahead, I think, and if you want to play the GoD again especially, you will have a lot of fun this season. So I hope you liked my little overview here. I will probably make an updated GoD for next season as well, because of the Ethereals and the choices you can make, but this is what I have to share for now. Hope you like this, and I'll see you guys next time.